Flexitarian Diet, Meal Plan and Guide for Healthy Living and Weight Loss. Written by Shelby Anderson. Narrated by Mark Booker. Flexitarian Diet, Meal Plan and Guide for Healthy Living and Weight Loss by Shelby Anderson. Introduction. What are flexitarian foods? What do flexitarians eat? What's a flexitarian? How is a flexitarian different from a semi-vegetarian? There are lots of questions about flexitarians. The term is relatively new, but flexitarians have been around forever. The terms almost vegetarian and semi-vegetarian have the same meaning. None of these types are vegetarian because they all eat meat, fish, or poultry in some form. Flexitarians, almost vegetarians, and semi-vegetarians generally eat a plant-based diet. There are several reasons they choose to eat less meat. Oftentimes, the reason given is that the flexitarian lives with a vegetarian or vegan, and so eats what that person eats. It's more simple that way, as just one meal is prepared. Away from the home, the flexitarian may choose to eat anything, including meat, fish, and poultry. Someone else may choose a flexitarian diet because friends and/or family aren't vegetarian. When alone, a vegetarian diet is preferred. When in the company of others, the motto becomes eat whatever the others are eating. They're flexible. There are a couple of reasons for decisions coming from this perspective. First, holidays and celebrations, for example, are special occasions with traditional meals. The food served may have been family favorites through the generations. There's comfort in tradition and deep emotions about breaking bread with family. Just as it's always been done, meals are often based around one or more meats. The flexitarian has the option to eat all that is provided and enjoy the feast with the tribe. A second reason is that some who have decided a vegetarian lifestyle suits them become uncomfortable in social situations with omnivores. They just find it easier and less troublesome to eat what everyone else is eating. They aren't the objects of attention for being different, and no one need know they're vegetarian-minded. Chapter 1. Types of Vegetarian Eating. Generally, today's vegetarians come in three different forms: flexitarian, lacto-ovo, and vegan. Each of these categories represents a different style of vegetarian eating. Some vegetarians maintain one or a combination of these three eating categories throughout the year. There are no hard and fast rules to becoming a vegetarian. More and more individuals are customizing his or her diet to suit the nutritional demands of each person's body. It is important to keep in mind as a vegetarian, regardless of what type, to replace whatever nutrients restricted by a meatless diet. Aspire to eat a balanced meatless meal with whole foods even if you are vegan, lacto-ovo, or flexitarian. A flexitarian is a vegetarian who mainly survives on plant foods like fruits, vegetables, dairy products, eggs, and on rare occasions, fish and poultry. Red meat is generally avoided. Most flexitarians become flexible around Thanksgiving and Christmas. The main thing to keep in mind with a flexitarian is that fish and poultry are eaten rather sparingly. Even though a flexitarian eats poultry and fish at times, this doesn't mean that it is not possible to suffer from nutritional deficiencies. A flexitarian, like any other vegetarian, will stand to benefit nutritionally by consuming mainly whole foods. A lacto-ovo vegetarian is an individual who doesn't eat meat, poultry, or fish at all. However, these individuals do eat eggs and dairy products. So while the category of vegetarian is more restrictive in that it does not allow for the consumption of animal products of any kind, he or she does indulge on eggs, milk, and cheese. The main thing to remember while maintaining this dietary style is to avoid unhealthy fats and focus on consuming healthy fats found in whole foods like coconut and avocado. Serious medical complications are the result of a diet infested with unhealthy fats. A vegan is the most disciplined of the vegetarian eating styles. A vegan consumes only plant foods. They do not consume meats, poultry, seafoods, eggs, or dairy products. The ideal diet for a vegan is one that focuses solely on whole foods. Whole foods include fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. This diet of whole foods offers a vegan a complete, balanced nutritional diet. A vegan should indulge in the complete array of whole foods available on the market, and even though he or she may not be eating any animal products or byproducts, processed foods should still be avoided due to their contents of chemicals and preservatives. If deciding to become a vegetarian, an individual can choose to be a flexitarian, a lacto-ovo vegetarian, or a vegan. These categories range from being flexible and allowing an occasional indulgence of poultry and fish, while others are more disciplined and restricts the consumption of all types of animals and dairy products. Which one any individual chooses will depend on his or her personal nutritional needs. Perhaps a novice should consider the flexitarian diet to start with, gradually move up to lacto-ovo, then settle in on a healthy vegan diet of whole foods. Flexitarian diet. As Americans, we eat a lot of meat, over 200 pounds per year on average. Becoming a vegetarian is a great, simple way to cut out the excessive saturated fat and cholesterol in our diets and start eating more whole grains and legumes in its stead. But let's face it, meat is delicious, and some of us aren't willing to completely cut it out of our diets. Simply reducing the meat that we consume is an easy first step towards increased health. Adopting the flexitarian diet is one way of doing this. A flexitarian is simply a fancy name for someone who eats meat sparingly and on the rare occasion. Some flexitarians eat meat once a week, others once a month or even bi-monthly. There are several methods of logic to put on the flexitarian diet that will help reduce the amount of meat you eat. One method is to eat meat only when it is given to you. An example of this might be when you attend a dinner party and the entree is prime rib. Rather than taking the vegetarian approach and abstaining from the meat in the meal, you can feel free to indulge. Otherwise, don't buy meat and prepare it yourself. You'll notice a drastic reduction in your meat consumption immediately, but still be able to eat it on occasion. Another method is to set a schedule for yourself. Say you decide to eat meat once a week. You can try setting Thursday night as your meat night and stick to it. Your body will be more adaptable to eating meat on a regular schedule rather than sporadically on random occasions. A more simplistic approach is to simply say that you're going to eat less meat and act on it. If there are vegetarian options at the restaurant you're at, opt for those. Instead of buying meat at the store, grab a piece of tofu every now and then instead. By simply being conscious of your desire to reduce the amount of meat in your diet, you inevitably will desire it less. Not only will you experience noticeable health benefits by becoming flexitarian, the meat-eating experience will be enhanced when you do eat it. You can look forward to that Thursday night steak and have a deeper appreciation for its delicious taste. When you happen to be at a dinner party that's serving meat, you'll be delighted that the opportunity has presented itself and really sink those teeth into that chicken. Chapter 2. Be a Flexitarian. The word flexitarian is a combination of flexible and vegetarian, and it describes a person who eats a primarily plant-based diet, but who occasionally enjoys chicken, fish, or red meat. More of us in retirement should follow this eating style if we are interested in better health, lower weight, a longer life, and reduced chances of chronic and deadly diseases. Flexitarians live almost 4 years longer than non-vegetarians live, according to a publication in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. The American Institute for Cancer Research estimates that eating a vegetarian diet could prevent a third of all cancers, certainly a concern for us as retired folks. So many clinical studies have found a connection between red meat and colorectal cancer that the fact is no longer disputed. A March issue of the New York Times headlined an article with "Eating Meat May Increase Risk of Early Death," study finds. The NIH study, done in association with the largest retired persons organization, tracked over 500,000 older Americans just like us for 5 years. Those who ate the red meat were almost 30% more likely to die during the study than those who ate the least amount of red meat. The most common causes of death were cancer and heart disease. The flexitarian lifestyle is easier to adopt than a strictly vegetarian diet. The nonprofit Vegetarian Resource Group estimates that only about 3% of Americans are true vegetarians. Although adherents would claim otherwise, a strictly vegetarian diet can be difficult to manage, and disciplines must be ever vigilant, lest some animal products sneak into their food. Flexitarians are relieved from that concern and instead can concentrate on reducing the meat in their diet and increasing the proportions of beans, whole grains, nuts, fruits, and vegetables. This substitution is an easier process than you might think, even at our age. A good place to begin is to rid yourself of the idea that a piece of meat must be at the center of the plate at a meal. Although most of us were raised with this notion and raised our families the same way, in our thrifty retirement, we can change our habits. Instead, when present at all, meat, fish, or poultry should be an ingredient in a veggie-rich dish, such as a salad or stir-fry. When you load a salad with nutritious and interesting ingredients such as dried fruits or berries, toasted nuts, chunks of vegetables such as zucchini, squash, or broccoli, and a variety of leafy greens, you have a spectacular dish. One great salad recipe includes a fresh apple and a fresh orange chopped up in it. Add low-fat, high-fiber crackers or flatbreads, and you won't even miss meat. Favorite recipes can be adapted by substituting half the meat for an equal amount of beans. Think of chili with less meat and extra kidney beans, or burritos with less chicken and more pinto beans, as well as brown rice. Spaghetti can be served with extra peppers, onions, and zucchini diced into the sauce, and less or no ground beef. Add shredded carrots or mashed garbanzo beans to meatball or meatloaf mixture. Additional benefits of eating a flexitarian diet include lower weight, lower food costs, and lower contributions to climate change and global warming, a concern for our grandchildren's future. Nutritional Reviews analyzed dozens of studies and found that people who eat a vegetarian-style diet weigh about 15% less than do those who eat a more conventional American diet, which is higher in meat. Once per ounce, meat is probably the most expensive food we purchase. Meat averages from a low of about 15 cents an ounce to as much as $1 per ounce or more. Compare that to beans, which can cost as little as 2 or 3 cents per ounce, or fresh veggies, which are around 5 to 20 cents per ounce. Production of meat has a startling influence on climate change. The Archives of Internal Medicine cited a report from the United Nations which stated that not only do live cattle produce more methane during digestion each year than all transportation combined, but United States livestock production generates 1 billion tons of manure annually, causing well over half of world emissions of nitrous oxide. In addition, U.S. livestock accounts for 55% of erosion, 37% of pesticides applied, and 50% of antibiotics consumed, as well as 32% of nitrogen load and 33% of the phosphorus load into freshwater resources. Additional impacts on global warming include production of the grain to feed animals raised for food and the fuel used to transport the meat first to processing plants and then to markets. Reducing human contributions to climate change is critical if we want our children and grandchildren to enjoy the same benefits of the planet that we have found. Losing weight, saving money, and improving your health while doing those through flexitarian eating sounds like a win-win-win situation. Benefits of a flexitarian lifestyle. Have you ever considered becoming a vegetarian but cannot imagine your meals without meat? Many people wish to follow a vegetarian lifestyle for the health benefits, but cannot imagine not eating meat. Why not become a flexitarian? A flexitarian is someone who mainly follows a vegetarian diet with occasional meat consumption. It has been suggested by health authorities that 2 or 3 meat-free days per week can be of great benefit to health. Grocery stores carry a much wider range of vegetarian and natural whole foods now than ever before, so it is very easy to work with this exciting way of eating into your diet without losing variety and taste. Let's talk a little more about the health benefits of cutting down the meat products from the diet. Some of the benefits are: the likelihood of diseases and cancers are reduced. Blood pressure and cholesterol levels will be reduced. Vegetarians on average weigh about 15% less than meat eaters. You can eat to lose weight. By eating more plant-based foods, blood sugar levels will remain stable, leaving you satisfied for longer and less likely to reach for the snacks. You will see a reduction in your grocery bill. Although cutting some of the meat products out of your diet can be beneficial to health, it is very important to ensure that a balanced diet is being eaten. There are many other ways to get protein into your diet without eating meat every day. For example, chickpeas are a great source of protein and fiber and are a very versatile cooking ingredient. A chickpea salad is perfect for the summer. Reasons to choose the flexitarian lifestyle. There are 5 basic reasons to choose a flexitarian lifestyle. Flexitarians are also known as semi-vegetarian and almost vegetarian. Neither vegetarian nor vegan, flexitarians do generally eat a vegetarian or vegan diet, but occasionally eat meat in some form. The following reasons are given in no particular order. Flexitarian lives with a Number 1. Flexitarian lives with a vegetarian or vegan. This person may have little or no commitment to eating a plant-based diet, but it's easier and more convenient to prepare one meal rather than one with meat and one without. So this person eats the typical diet of his or her culture when away from home. Number 2. Flexitarian wants to eat a nutritionally complete, healthy diet. Many people believe a meat-free diet can't possibly provide all the nutrients required for health. Or they may believe it possible, but quite difficult, so they supplement their diet with fish, for example. Number 3. Flexitarian craves tastes and textures of meat, poultry, or seafoods. Cravings can happen anytime. A flexitarian is not a vegetarian, and so enjoys a guilt-free hamburger or fried chicken dinner without angst. Once a week or once a year, flexitarians eat animal products as they choose, but generally prefer a plant-based diet for health, environmental, ethical, or animal rights reasons. Number 4. Flexitarian eats socially what others are eating. Some flexitarians eat a vegetarian diet when alone or with other vegetarians or vegans. In the company of omnivores, however, they eat what is served. During the holidays, when traditional family meals are served, many people who generally eat a meat-free diet will break bread with their family. Holiday meals are often based on turkey, ham, or whatever meat has become the family tradition. Flexitarians join their tribe for the celebration. Number 5. Flexitarian supports animal causes and wants to be vegetarian. These animal lovers can't let themselves think of what they're eating in terms of loss of life. They continue to eat the diet of their culture. Often they know they couldn't kill the animal themselves to eat it. They most often think becoming a vegetarian would be too hard, but continue to consider the possibility of change. Chapter 3. Flexitarian Diet. Having a good diet plan is a necessity nowadays because there are so many other diet plans existing that somehow risk your health status. It is our foremost duty to analyze all of the offers to us and be the one to decide for the perfect diet plan for ourselves. Some diet plans forbid us to eat our favorite fruits, but the thing is, why do you have to limit yourself by not eating your favorite foods if you can allow yourself to eat it occasionally? The flexitarian diet is one of the newest diet plans that evolved from vegetarian diet. Yes, it is most of the time vegetarian, but you can eat some meat once in a while. Yes, the thing with this plan is that you do not have to limit yourself at all to anything because you can eat anything you like. Just bear in mind that the majority of your meals should consist of vegetables. The flexitarian plan offers you a well-rounded development. You are sure that you will have a healthy lifestyle, and at the same time, you know that at the end of the plan, you can achieve your dream body. You do not have to risk your health by trying some other plan on your finances by buying some expensive food or supplement just to lose weight, because definitely, Flexitarian Diet Plan can help you attain your goals. We all know that fibers help a lot in shaping our body and keeping it clean. Flexitarian Diet Plan is one of the most recommended plans by many nutritionists because of its richness in vitamins, fibers, and minerals that our body needs. Now that you know all of these, would you rather stick to your old and tricky diet plan? Analyze it better, and you will see the Flexitarian Diet Plan can help you achieve your goal. Now you want to have more energy, be healthier, look younger, lose weight, and cleanse your body, right? The Flexitarian Pantry. The secret to any diet change is not to be caught short, otherwise you can quickly revert to old ways. The Flexitarian diet is no different. Stock up your fridge and pantry with all the ingredients you need. Having different kind of ingredients available will surely inspire you to try new, meat-free recipes and switch to a more plant-based diet. Be ready to go meat-free any day of the week with this Flexitarian Pantry Guide. It is, of course, largely inspired by vegetarian supplies. We've tried to make it as broad as possible to suit most tastes, so there are a lot of different things here. Don't be overwhelmed, just work your way through it. You do not need everything on the list. Pick and choose and add to suit your taste and dietary needs. Number 1. Beans and pulses. Beans and pulses are a real staple for a plant-based diet as they contain proteins, iron, magnesium, zinc, and other minerals. They are also high in fiber and low in fat and cholesterol. Dry lentils, poi lentils, green lentils, red lentils, soybeans, etc. Perfect for salads, curries, soups, etc. Chickpeas. So versatile it's hard to do without them. Perfect for salads, curries, dips, soups, etc. Beans. Red kidney beans, pinto beans, black beans, borlotti beans, cannellini beans. Perfect for salads, chilies, casseroles, curries, soups, etc. Edamame. Immature soybeans in the pod. Simply steamed, they are great as a snack or side dish. Number 2. Grains. Grains are another staple of the flexitarian diet. They are a source of vegetable proteins and nutrients with similar benefits than grains and pulses. Quinoa, the complete protein. Cook it like rice, delicious combined with vegetables or in salads. Barley, hulled barley, pearl barley, both are a great addition to soups, stews, and salads. Wheat berries. The whole grain form of wheat without any processing, great for soups, salads, or combined with vegetables. Couscous. This is the ultimate fast food. Ready in 5 minutes, try also giant couscous for a change. Great in a salad or combined with vegetables. Polenta. Choose quick polenta which takes no time to cook. Make it creamy or dense. Mix cheese with it. Hard to go wrong. Lovely when combined with roasted peppers, aubergines, and courgettes, such as the roasted ratatouille with smoked cheese polenta. Rice. Wild rice, brown rice, arborio, basmati, jasmine, and red rice, a personal favorite which has a great flavor and bite. Pasta and noodles. Egg pasta, wheat pasta, buckwheat noodles, stir-fry noodles. Mix the shapes, mix the colors, choose whole grain whenever possible, mix with vegetables, make salads. Oats. Use in porridge for a healthy start of the day or in cakes and biscuits. Flours. Bread flour, ultra-fine flour, self-rising flour, and plain flour. Number 3. Spices and condiments. Spices. Curry powder, coriander, seeds and ground, cumin, seeds and ground, nutmeg, mustard seeds, cardamom, pepper, cloves, chili, paprika, etc. If you are starting out, I recommend Steenberg's Store Cupboard Spice Box. Has the entire essential to give your cooking splendid flavors. Sauces. Soy sauce, fish sauce, Worcestershire sauce, pesto. Curry pastes. Red and green Thai curry pastes, Indian curry pastes. Oils. Extra virgin olive oil for salad, olive oil and vegetable oil for cooking, sesame oil and walnut oil for a slightly different taste. Vinegars. Red wine vinegar, sherry vinegar, rice vinegar, cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar, Xeres vinegar. Mustard. Dijon mustard, whole grain mustard, English mustard. Vegetable stock cubes. Great to cook beans and lentils or when you need to do a quick soup. Nutritional yeast. Strong flavor, it is a popular substitute for cheese. Works also well with scrambled tofu as a substitute for scrambled eggs. Miso. Number 4. Pickles. Olives. Kalamata, green and black, etc. all make great additions to salads, pizzas, vegetable casseroles. Preserved lemons. A friend secret ingredients to ratatouille, preserved lemons are versatile and add a tang to whatever you add them to. Jar of roasted peppers. Quick fix for summer salads, sandwiches. Anchovies. Technically not a pickle, but add flavor to roasted vegetables such as peppers. Cornichons. Nice addition to salads, sandwiches, and salsas. Capers. Work well with cooked vegetables, salads, or salsas. Sun-dried tomatoes. Packed with flavors for salads, pasta, sandwiches, or casseroles. Number 5. Milk substitutes. Coconut milk, an essential to the flexitarian pantry, goes well with vegetables, fish, or meat. Perfect base for curries, flans, pudding, etc. Almond milk, lovely and creamy with half the fat of semi-skimmed milk. Use it for sauces and desserts. Soya milk, a versatile dairy-free basic along with soya cream and soya butter. Use it for sauces and desserts. Number 6. Meat substitutes. Fried tofu. Tofu. Made from soybeans, high in proteins and calcium, tofu is bland in taste, but takes the taste of whatever you cook it with, making it very versatile. Perfect for stir-fry, casseroles, scrambles. Tempeh. Similar to tofu, tempeh has a textured and nutty flavor. Number 7. Nuts and seeds. pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, hemp seeds, sesame seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, loaded with minerals, essential fatty acids, proteins, fiber, antioxidants. Number 8. Dry fruits. Apricots, cranberries, prunes, dates, figs, raisins, full of goodness. Wonderful Middle Eastern or North African touch, great to snack on. Number 9. Grow your own herbs. Culinary herbs add beautiful flavors. Try to grow your own, in pots in your kitchen or outside in containers or borders so that you have a continuous, fresh supply. Try basil, parsley, mint, coriander, thyme, rosemary, chives. Of course, each Flexitarian diet pantry varies according to personal taste, allergies, or type of cuisine you cook. Chapter 4. Tips for Aspiring Flexitarians. Here are a few tips to introduce you to the wonderful world of flexitarians. Number 1. Swap half the meat for beans. Decrease the meat in your meals by half and swap in plant proteins such as black beans, pinto beans, white beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans, and lentils. 1 ounce of meat is roughly equivalent to 1/4 cup of beans. Number 2. Add in foods that are filling. One of the reasons that people tend to miss meat proteins so much is that meat makes them feel full and satisfied. To get that feeling with less meat, add filling foods such as whole grain breads and bananas. Number 3. Explore vegetarian foods in restaurants. Chances are, if it's on the menu, it's a proven winner. So restaurants are a good place to discover great vegetarian foods that you can create at home. Number 4. Find one new meat-free dish you like every week. If you can just discover one thing that you like every week, in a couple of months, you'll have a stockpile of meat-free dishes that you look forward to eating. Number 5. Make a commitment to 1 meat-free day a week. Wait at least a month to do this. Rushing into meatless meals is a primary reason that flexitarian diets fail. You are probably already having a meat-free breakfast. The next step is a meat-free lunch, and the big step is a meat-free dinner. Number 6. Think of meat as a condiment. On a flexitarian diet, meat doesn't disappear, but it doesn't occupy a significant amount of space on your plate anymore. Your stomach will tell you the minimum amount of meat you need. If you feel bloated and slightly nauseous after a meal, add in more meat next time. Number 7. You don't have to eat nuts and berries. Eating less meat doesn't mean that you need to take a basket into the woods for ingredients. It's not necessary to go organic, eliminate sweets, or forego a glass of wine with dinner. The flexitarian diet is about eating less meat, period. Number 8. Don't be discouraged. If you've been eating meat your entire life and your ultimate goal is to eliminate it, you may not be able to. Some people are just wired to be meat eaters. The goal is just to cut back consistently. Number 9. Buy a flexitarian cookbook. The Flexitarian Diet. It's available on Amazon. Most libraries also have books on the subject. While you can download recipes online, there's nothing like drooling over full-color pages in a book. Also, you can bring the book with you to the grocery store. Number 10. Keep trying. If you need to take a break and go back to your carnivorous ways for a while, it's not a big deal. Later on, you might regroup and try again, or you may not. Even if you give up, the fact that you tried will make you more mindful of your meat choices for the rest of your life, and this is a good thing. Conclusion. Committed vegetarians make up only 3% of our population. It is this select few who might have issues with flexitarians. Part-time vegetarians, or vegetarians with little willpower, have been used to describe this ambiguous classification of eaters. There's no time for hating, though, because 2 people who cut their meat consumption in half is the same as 1 person going completely veg, and that's a huge deal. So why the beef with beef? Oh man, a million different reasons. Here is just a handful. The world's meat consumption multiplied 5-fold since 1950. We kill 10 billion animals a year in U.S. alone. 30% of the Earth's land surface is directly or indirectly devoted to raising the animals we eat. This number is somehow projected to double in 40 years. 18% of greenhouse gases come from livestock production, more than the entire transportation industry. It takes about 2,500 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef. A pound of lettuce equals 15 gallons. Potatoes, 30 gallons. Apples, 83 gallons of water. Millions of acres of rainforest are cleared each year for cattle ranchers, further accelerating climate change. Lifestyle diseases like diabetes, stroke, heart disease, and certain cancers are far more prevalent in U.S. than other parts of the world and can be directly attributed to our higher demand for meat and dairy. Half of all antibiotics are fed to livestock. This is potentially scary, as it would be harder for people to fight diseases that have immunities to antibiotics. Factory farming is inhumane and disgusting, creating acres of manure lagoons that pollute neighboring areas. That list was like a body blow from Evander Holyfield. It'll take the breath right out of you. Clearly, the consequences of this system are massive, but unfortunately, there really isn't a whole lot going on to address these issues. It's one thing to tell people to drive less or to switch to CFL light bulbs, but to tell them to give up hamburgers or bacon is much more personal and subjectively offensive. This is sadly ironic because it's significantly easier to alter our diets than, say, the transportation industry. And quickly hitting on the water issue, you might have breezed right by the number of gallons it takes to produce a pound of beef, 2,500. To put this into perspective, we use around 5,000 gallons of water a year for showering. So why is it that we are told to think that shorter showers are a legitimate solution when there's this brontosaurus in the corner? What's wrong with this picture? If I were to ask someone to choose between a quarter-pound burger or a month and a half of showering, I'm guessing most would choose the hygienic option. Here in America, people for some reason feel that they need to have meat with every meal. It certainly doesn't help that factory farms have been heavily subsidized, making it cost-effective for the masses to indulge in their carnivorous ways. Doesn't it seem a little odd that it costs more to get a head of lettuce from the grocery store than a meal-ready double cheeseburger from a fast food chain? Considering the embodied energy, water, and resources of the two, and the negative health effects from malnutrition, that is pretty absurd. There are hundreds of studies showing that a vegan diet is the healthiest, and thousands more showing that meat is natural and necessary for us to eat. We shouldn't be focusing on this all-or-nothing debate right now. We really should be discussing how the developed countries of the world can break their addiction to the quantity of meat that is being consumed. A concept called Meatless Mondays has been thrown around with the intention of getting people comfortable with the idea of going meat-free for at least one day a week. In Belgium, an entire town is taking this concept and running with it. The Flemish city of Ghent has designated every Thursday as Veggiedag, Veggie Day, calling for meat-free meals to be served in schools and public buildings. I recently read that an individual who switches from a traditional American diet to a vegetarian one minimizes their eco-footprint more than someone who switches from driving a Hummer to a Prius. How's that for going green? Some powerful stuff indeed, but again, it doesn't have to be an all-or-nothing undertaking. A whole lot of people making moderate changes makes a bigger difference than a handful of virtuous ones. So on that note, Flexitarians unite, and if you're already a vegetarian, treat yourself to a nice long shower today. Thanks again for buying my book. If you have a minute, please leave a review. I take reviews seriously and always look at them. This way you are helping me provide you better content that you will love in the future. A review doesn't have to be long, just 1 or 2 sentences, and a number of stars you find appropriate. Hopefully 5, of course. Also, if I think your review is useful, I will mark it as helpful. This will help you become more known on Amazon as a decent reviewer, and will ensure that more authors will contact you with free ebooks in the future. This is how we can help each other.